Welcome to SerialPodcastNine.
Should we start the episode?
Episode 29. What is it?
Is it episode
30?
29?
Whatever.
Welcome to Serial Podcast episode podcast. My name be Kevin Peterson.
Gerard.
Who's you?
And I'm Ryan. Oh my. And I'm Ryan Benoit. And this is Serial Podcast 9. All right. I do have two questions, and then we can talk about those. One's not a real question. It's a funny question, but it's not real. But I'll read it anyway because I'm excited.
All questions are real questions.
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, I philosophically screwed that up is what I did. All right. Avec Moustache. Is that how I...
That's fucking mad.
Yeah, I know.
You are correct.
You wrote podcast ideas. Gerard is a very passionate person. Get him to talk about soap.
Soap?
And I was like, yeah, all right. Well, I guess. Like, Gerard...
Probably because they talk about Lever 2000 all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He said Gerard loves Lever 2000 in Irish Springs. I don't know anyone who buys that shit.
Irish Spring, I don't buy. That's disgusting.
Disgusting. You don't eat it, but
I know, but it's like it smells crazy. Like it has that limey kind of like sharp smell. Anyways.
limey.
Anyway. I just got a kick out of it because the last episode I asked what your favorite cereal was, and you're like, I don't eat cereal. I'm too busy eating crepes. And I was like, what? So everything's fancy. And then to find out that you use Lever 2000 is hilarious.
No, but Lever 2000 fucking works, dude. Like, but listen, not like, yeah, like it washes your body, whatever, but like to clean your fucking hands. Like to clean, I'll take Lever 2000 over that. What's that? Fast Orange, that Worth stuff, Simple Green, any of that. I'll take Lever 2000 and nail brush.
All the weird powdered ones, I don't understand. I don't get the powdered.
Yeah, I get it. They kind of like maybe go into the grooves of your fingers and shit, but they don't actually fucking work.
But like
man.
by the time you splash water on it and like
it just
all
rinses
the
away.
powder goes away instantly, and you're just like, all right, well, I just like wasted a ton of it. Like.
Well, that's why the Lever 2000, because when you get that lather on, bro, with the nail brush, man, the shit is fucking cleans you out. Like you can like go from full like black hands to like fresh in 10 minutes.
I've been doing the Castile soap or whatever, Castile soap. It's just like a type of soap. It's like a liquid.
Oh, that lava shit works pretty good too. That lava soap.
I remember having like lava soap bars growing up.
They were pretty good too.
And those are sick. And yeah, like all these weird like pumice soaps.
I can't get down with those. And like that Fast Orange shit, honestly, to me is like the absolute worst fucking soap.
Well, I don't like it's super pumicey. Like the
smell is so crazy.
Exactly terrible. Like we have like a Gojo at the shop, which is very similar. It's like a pumice.
Yeah, there's the two Gojos. We have the like less pumicey, that cherry fucking smell or whatever.
Yeah,
it like kind of works, and then we have the like hella
this
pumicey.
Is the dumbest conversation.
But I mean, people clean their hands. We work on cars and shit. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
You ever use that shit where you like rub it all on your hands and it forms like an invisible glove?
Oh, that's like gloves. What do they call them? Invisible hands? They're like
invisible
liquid gloves.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've tried that shit. I'm just like, I don't know.
I've never used that since like mechanics class.
Yeah.
Like in high school.
I try to wear gloves, man, but like, I don't know, man. A lot of times it just doesn't work.
I mean, you know me. I'm not down with the gloves. I hate wearing gloves.
Yeah. I mean, if I can wear gloves for the majority of the job, I probably will. It's just, there's always that like 50% of the way through your job, you got like a rip in your glove. So now you have one spot on your hand that's completely black and shit. And you got this like dangly plastic fucking shit glove part, and it just gets caught on everything. You're like, just fuck these gloves. Yeah.
And your hand is like soaking wet inside from like sweat.
Yeah.
And then you try and get like the slightly thicker like nitrile glove so that like it doesn't tear, but then you have like no dexterity and like
honestly those Worth gloves are quite good. I hate that like orange ass color. I just want
ribs,
like
bro.
Huh?
They're ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah, they're like they do have little like ribby dots. They're good though. They're quite strong. And then the other go-to is like, I think it's those Gorilla 8mm ones, which are, they're thick as fuck, man. But they have the cuff, so they go
those
up
ones
higher.
you could like wash and reuse.
Yeah, but they're dope because they have the cuff, so they go up kind of higher. But yeah, they're also like full sweat hands, like drenched fucking spec.
I'm never asking one of Matt Peterson's questions ever again.
But yo, seriously though, anybody try Libre 2000 and a nail brush on your fucking hands, and you'll be like, "What? How did that even work?" And like the lather and it just works, man. It's the
sorry, you just use like anything and a nail brush and you're
but the lever. But the thing is, the lever, the way that it lathers, somehow just like goes into the grooves and pores. It works.
It goes into all your 2,000 parts. Gerard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the promise. It's got to hit 2,000 parts every time.
Use the green shit. The green shit's aloe and cucumber or something. It works great. It smells good too.
I fully just picture Kevin being into like Fight Club-esque soap, you know? I don't know why.
That sounds like expensive. I'm not buying $40 bars of soap.
Dr. Squatch. Yo, you smell like a man.
No, like you make it yourself from your own Fight Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I remember, I think there was
like
I
just drink a lot of beers, cut my stomach open, render the fat. It's a cycle.
You go downtown. You steal the fat.
Oh, okay.
You
but
make your own soap.
Also, there's a thing where, like, chill. If you're like a really good mechanic,
yours was real gross way to get there. You would die. Anyway, go on. What do you?
No, I was saying there's also that thing where, like, if like the better of a mechanic you are, the less dirty you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, like, when I first met Kevin, and he would be working on cars, he would just be covered head to toe with like his hands would be black, all of his clothes would be super dirty. And I remember Paulo and I think Paulo said something to you, and he's like, "Yo, man, you're just changing alternator, man. You're like covered in fucking dirt."
I will attest to that now. Like I do think back to then, and it was like hilarious how dirty, how quickly like I could or would get. But yeah, now it also seems like now I feel like back then to me that was like part of it, and somehow like I felt accomplished by getting that dirty, you know what I mean? Whereas now it's just like, man, like I just got to clean this shit off. Like I don't want to get dirty no matter what I'm doing now. Not. Like you know.
They always think it's funny when I see some dude work on his car and he fully just like sits on the ground beside it, because it's like he's committed to fucking like getting dirty, and like his ass, you know, whatever he's wearing, his ass is like covered in dirt, and like, and he wasn't sitting in the car, and like that dude's not a mechanic. That dude does not know what he's doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
I do that when I film stuff for Gerard. I'm like, I'll just lay on the ground.
You got to get the cardboard out.
Yeah, it's got to be cardboard. But yeah. Anyways, next question.
How did we get so much out of a soap question?
Because man,
Gerard's a passionate individual. He's passionate about soap,
cleanliness. So
yeah,
working on cars.
All right,
let's talk about soap for your car.
I don't know anything about that.
What do you wash your car with?
So I use the stuff that just has like it's the foamiest, and then has like a built-in wax, because I just like I've never polished a car. I don't really know how to do that shit. And if the shit is shiny after I wash it, I'm like stoked. Like if it looks like I did something, like
I feel like right now the one we've been using lately is like an orange gel. I feel it's like a McGuire's.
Yeah, it's usually like Mother's. Before that was like
Turtle Wax.
Yeah,
we had Turtle Wax for a while.
I clay barred the Forerunner today. That was fun.
Damn.
Man. Oh, really?
I think I've maybe clay barred one car, but that was only to wrap it. I don't even know how to do that.
It's such a like. It's very easy.
Yeah,
you just spray it.
You can feel like a very distinct difference after. How smooth it feels after.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh yeah, that feels good.
But all you did is just take off all the wax. Yeah, and like all the.
Yeah, now you got to go wax it again. And
fuck that! Just use turtle wax, car wash.
Yeah, just wash your car with turtle wax.
Wash your car with turtle wax, bro. You're good to go.
You should probably have a detailer on here to tell us how dumb we are.
We could definitely have a detailer on here.
Yeah, we got the best detailer. But yeah, he probably doesn't have time for a podcast.
I think he would.
Who's your detailer?
Emmanuel from Exclusive Auto Spa. He also ceramic coated my wheels on the Blit.
Right.
Which seemed to work pretty well. They're definitely a pain in the ass to clean, man, those wheels. And it's sick because the only time I've been driving it's like in the rain.
I can't stand the rain.
All right. Anyway, that's a fun topic. Okay, question. This could be an actual thing. We've kind of talked about it before, but never full on. So comes from Christian Stewart. Said, "Hey Ryan, this is something you guys have touched on here and there on the podcast, but I was wondering, what does SerialNine think about front wheel drive cars? Would Gerard ever return to the Civic life? Why not? Benefits and disadvantages of having a front wheel drive car. And would you guys recommend the front wheel drive life to others? I'm sure most of these answers are obvious, but I think it would be interesting to chat about for a bit. Thanks!"
Oh.
Exclamation.
That's a good question. Ask Kevin. He's had
That's
lots
not
of
a bad
front wheel drive
question.
cars.
I've had very few front wheel drive cars. I like made it a huge point to never want to own a front wheel drive car.
So case closed. No.
Then I got the Camry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had a performance oriented front wheel drive car. I've never had a front wheel drive car that wasn't a performance oriented car that I modified and wanted to make more performance oriented. So I don't really have a lot of front wheel drive experience other than it just being like great in the snow and like a good car to buy your girlfriend, you know?
So when it downshifts in the rain, it doesn't fucking loop out.
And it's driving to a K-rail.
Write it off.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
So takeaway from today's episode: front wheel drive, good car to buy your girlfriend. No, okay.
But I mean, I'd have a Fit or an Integra or like a Civic. Like I've maybe before I was just so blinded by drift, but now I think I could, I could appreciate more now. You know,
I don't think I've ever said this to either of you.
Yeah,
but I've said so. Like out of the two, Kevin is the drift guy.
Yep.
Which I think he just said.
Yeah.
And then Gerard is the all-around car guy.
Yeah, for sure.
So the answer for what you're saying already isn't surprising. Kevin is like, yeah, I've just been so obsessed with drifting that I've never thought of having a front-wheel drive car. Yeah. I agree with Kevin. It's like, yeah, of course I'd have like a Type R Civic or, like an Integra Type R or, it's like some type, but would you ever buy one? Is like, would you ever spend the money? Would you spend I
haven't yet.
$50,000?
Kevin has a sweet Echo that's front wheel drive.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't yet, and that's the thing. It's like, I really, really like classic minis too. And it's, am I going to spend all, not quite JZX money, but like 110 money on a mini when I could get a 110?
Yeah.
No, like I bought the 18 Crown. I could have bought a mini, but like, yeah,
there's so many other cars you want to have. Like,
I just never do. Yeah.
Every car in Kevin's life must be at some point able to be drift. A drift car, pretty much, except for the Dyna, the motorbike, and the Echo. But it's like
drift.
I've had all of them sideways.
So yeah, it's just like
you can definitely drift a front-wheel drive car too, though.
All right, that sounds stupid. I don't care. Whatever you're about to say, I don't care.
Right.
I don't want to have that conversation.
I'm not talking about in the dry. Like that type of drifting is very difficult. Like it's like the like front wheel drive, like FF rain / dry drift is fucking crazy. But like snow drifting, absolutely a thing. It's like not nearly as fun as rear wheel drive, but it can definitely be. I mean, if you got a front wheel drive car, might as well set it up to drift, right, in the snow. So.
Yeah, I mean, driving anything in the snow is fun. So
yeah, I have vast front wheel drive experience. Like I don't know, like
oh my god. Yeah. Okay, real. I thought we were gonna keep talking about snow drifting.
No, I mean that could be part of it, but that's
I was turning the episode off already. I was like, I don't want to listen to this.
But okay, no. But the weirdest thing is, I mean, I didn't know this was possible either. But you can set up I had an EF at the time. You can set up a front wheel drive car to actually drift with just the throttle, like not just dragging the e-brake and all that shit. the difference in grip was so large that like the front had tons of grip and the rear had like not a lot. So you would kind of like the rear wheel drive car, you'd turn it in, sort of, get on the gas, and it would just pull the rear end around, kind of like, you're pulling something with a string, and then it would just hang out and just kind of like fine tune with the e-brake until you countered and then got back on the gas to like whip it the other way. It's pretty fun, but like, yeah,
probably just get a rear wheel drive and it'd be more fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm a simple man with simple solutions to these problems. So, I mean, if I want to do that, I just buy a rear wheel drive.
But what about more of the heart of the question?
Yeah, let's skip the drifting part. And I could do without that. Let's do
man,
the
they're
real
asking
thing.
the question. They're asking the question.
They weren't
asking about front wheel drive.
No, but they were asking about front wheel drive life and like, what's fun, like most fucking boring type of drive possible. Okay. So there's like, I mean, I guess all wheel drive probably is the most boring, except for the fact that you can get all the grip in the world. Right. But like, yeah, rear wheel drive, kind of fun. If you got enough power, it'll like go sideways or whatever, as long as you have two wheels spinning. Front wheel drive, like it just goes straight. Like it just goes straight, or, it just, you got lots of power. The only thing it does is fucking blow the tires off and go straight. You know what I mean? You have LSD, you don't have LSD, you're in a corner, you get on the gas. Yeah, it'll turn in until the grip runs out. And then if the grip runs out, you just go straight, and it's super boring. So like the drifting is like a lot
of straight.
Yeah. I've had.
Would you get back into it though?
There's a lot of those type of cars that I like, and they happen to be front wheel drives. So like, would I buy one though? Like, I don't know. Like I still would love to build an EK sedan. That would be a car that I'd like to build. That's a front wheel drive car. I would never want to do like a rear wheel drive conversion or any shit like that on those cars, because that's like, I don't know. I'd love to build a DA 4-door. That's also a front wheel drive car. Odyssey Absolute, I'd probably choose the 4-wheel drive version just because like I'd rather have all-wheel drive than front-wheel drive. Yeah, I mean, Nissan Primera, those cars are sick. Front-wheel drive car. There's a lot of cars that are dope, but just happen to be front-wheel drive, right? Like Civic Type R, Integra Type R. I mean, even the new Type R, pretty amazing car to drive.
Are you going to get any of them though?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't fucking buy a new Type R. Like,
that's what I mean though. Like, is there any front-wheel drive car that you're actually like, man, like, I'm gonna get this?
Not a fucking chance. I mean, I'm gonna buy the new Z or a fucking Type R? You're laughing if you think I'm buying a fucking Civic for fucking 60 grand or whatever the hell it is. Like, it could be the highest tech thing in the world. Still front wheel drive.
You're not gonna buy the spaceship looking Type R? I have a clear bias against that car.
I mean, it's like, the thing is, those cars, like,
it feels like the new ITR isn't going to be as spaceshipy. It looks like pretty
it better not be. I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like that's kind of cool.
I like the Type R.
I like that car
crazy.
too. Yeah, I think it looks sick.
It's like, it fits the bill, man. Like they took the like image and ran with it. They're like, yo, like fucking boy racer, riced out super duper car. You want to see rice? Let's fucking, here's a spoiler. Like here's another spoiler. Here's a fucking gurney
fake vents.
Here's fender flares.
Grills.
Like,
here's a vent on a spoiler. Here's a spoiler on a vent.
19-inch wheels. Boom, you got them. Brembos. Boom, you got them. Ricaros. Boom, you know, like it literally has every possible thing.
I like the Brembos and the Ricaros and that stuff. I like, but I think the whole like over the top stuff I don't like when it comes from the manufacturer. I like having like a kind of like a clean slate to start with to make something cool
to make
out
your
of
car
it.
look shittier.
I mean, that car looks like it was drawn by a 16-year-old me, I guess. I don't know. Like,
it's kind of sick though, because like you can have all that shit, and then you're like
Gundam car.
Yeah, and then you drive around, and you're like, yo, like so you get pulled over and shit, and you're like, yo, man, this thing's factory, so go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that
I want to see like an instant gentleman kit for like that car. You know, like someone makes a kit that like D Gundams the whole.
Yeah,
honestly though,
I wanted to take the edge off.
Those sedans of that era, like the previous like Civic sedans, not the brand new ones, but the previous ones are fucking phenomenal looking cars, man. Just such a beautiful, like clean and subtle shape. Like I would, and like I think the 1.5 can be.
Wouldn't buy one. You can say whatever you want, but you're not going to get one.
If I had enough money, I would. That seems like a great daily driver. It's like 1.5 turbo. I think you can get like
I'd get a Camry. That would
Fuck.
be my go-to.
I don't know. I mean, the new Camrys are pretty sick too.
Yeah, man, the new Camry.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking Gundam. It's just two-tone and dope.
Yeah, but at the
Have
end of
you
the
heard
day,
it
it's a
for the-
fucking Toyota.
Dude,
man.
obviously you're gonna get the TRD in white, so it's fully a Gundam car.
But see, that's the thing.
I don't
That's-
want the TRD. I don't
The
think.
thing is, what does the TRD name even mean, man? What the TRD is fucking empty. It's like some red stripes and a fucking badge. Like, what is it? Ooh,
No, it's
maybe
like
it
the
has,
wing. It's like the wheels.
But I mean,
swear
does
also has
it
more-
drive any differently?
I think it has
might
more
have
horsepower.
what five
I don't know.
more?
It's like 300 horsepower, isn't it?
Yeah, stock. It doesn't matter what model you get. I don't think the TRD one is like. It's just like aesthetic, whereas like the
I mean,
Type R is a completely different car. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Type R
I
means
don't
something.
deny that.
Can you get the 2022 Camry in all-wheel drive?
Probably. It's probably hybrid
wouldn't-
all-wheel
yeah.
drive.
And hybrid, yeah.
Boys, I'd get a hybrid real quick. I like the XSE though as well.
I don't know, man.
I think that's the
I'm
one I like.
so I'm like, what's the word? I'm like
Yeah, you're just sending Gerard's just sending me photos of Nissans that look like a poor man's Lexus and like telling me that's dope. What did you send me a photo of? And you're like,
Fuga
well-
M35 or a Y50.
yeah, I don't fucking care about that.
Yeah,
not
let
for
me
me.
get that fucking third gen GS that like couldn't
I
drift if its
will.
life depended on it.
I don't care.
Yeah, the Camry XSE and the TRD both make 301. So yeah.
But yeah,
You get
with
nothing.
the TRD package, you
Which
get
is
fucking
pretty-
badges. Sick. You get
You
some red
get, you get that
stripes.
sick wing though. No, you get like a diffuser.
Oh, you know what you do get though?
a
You do get
wing,
exhaust.
You got a
it has the better
splitter.
exhaust. The TRD has the switchable exhaust, so it's like pretty loud actually for factory. It sounds
Dude,
really
that's
sick.
got to be like 20 horsepower.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, going back to front wheel drives, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I've had anything from like a 70 horse EF to like a 450 horse EK. I don't know, like a 350 horse Nissan. What the fuck was that thing? NX2000. And honestly, man, like even back then, like that NX2000 with the SR20 was probably one of the funnest cars ever to drive, and it was like vastly funner than my 450 horse Civic. Like it was a rocket, man, and like it had, I don't know, like it was super simple. It revved to 7,500. It made a good amount of power, had like lots of grip and like an LSD, and it was just point and shoot, man. And like the steering was quick. It was super fun to drive. It was like a little go-kart.
Is weird. I was gonna say I feel like your generation of cars, like it was all about like Civics and all these other Integras and Preludes and Cavaliers, if you will, and all these other like front wheel drive cars. And I was just like, man, it seems like yeah, it's all you guys had, but it's like, well, no, it's not true, because you guys had like the S14, all the S13s, the Corollas, the RX-7s. You had everything there when it was newer and like maybe even like slightly cheaper before.
I mean,
not like, back then it was still new enough that it was expensive, but like there was a lull there where the Corolla was absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I got my Corolla for like $2,000, and I'm sure if I was a little bit better or knew a little bit more at that time, I could have got it for way less than that. Like,
yeah, I mean, when we had the shop, like we were modifying S14s. Like we had done like an SR swap. We would put wheels and suspension on like S14s at the time, which were only like 5 to 10 years old, and like
it still felt
FDs.
like that wasn't like that was the exception, not the rule.
Oh yeah, I mean those cars
those
were
were
not popular.
expensive.
And like when we built my buddy's FD,
I just mean like front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive, like even back in that time frame.
I mean my Civic was brand new and I fully modified it because I guess that shit was just so cheap. Like it was like a $14,000 car, and I just like took the interior out of it.
S chassis were very, I think at the time too, like, yeah, they weren't in the limelight, and they were expensive-ish still.
Yeah.
Like, and like really all of the media was focusing on like drag racing.
For sure.
It was just
it
about
was like,
how much horsepower can you make? And it was like, we've talked about this before. It was like dudes, like where I was at was like fighting to get to 200 horsepower out of a front wheel drive, and then fighting to get to like 300 horsepower or whatever. But I've told this story before, but my brother's best friend bought an S14 it was just a 240. And when he bought it, people are like, why did you get that car? And
Yeah,
he was
instead of like a Prelude or something.
Yeah, they're like, why didn't you get a Prelude? And it was like, well, just wait and you'll see. This is about to be the next big thing. And like, sure enough, it was. But everybody had blinders on. That was still around the time where people were like, had Hyundai Accents and Tiburons, and they were all front wheel drive.
Preludes were hot, man. I remember like when I was
Preludes were.
like,
I mean,
and they were new.
I wanted a Prelude, like
because
I have never seen a nice Prelude, you guys. Like a nice done up Prelude.
You're tripping.
Yeah, like what are you even?
I'm tripping apparently. No, yeah, because
speaking of blinders on.
I'm just saying, by the time they became affordable enough for people to get them and customize them where I was, they became so cheap. They became the G35, where it was like, oh, that car was meant to be really cool, and you've just ruined it with like 20s on like chrome 20s and Lambo doors or some shit like that. Like it was never anything cool. There was never like a proper Prelude. Like I'd seen proper Integras and proper Civics, but I'd never seen like a proper Prelude. They were all just really rice. No, did you have? Was there a Serial 9 Prelude?
You a picture, man. It's a BB4 with 5-bolt Graham lights in gold with polished lip, and it had like. Gold.
You mean Graham heavies?
Whatever.
You mean Graham?
Yeah, I do. Graham heavies. Yeah, I do.
You know, have a Supra,
like a carbon gritty lip, and like all Defi gauges behind the like smoke dashboard, and it was like pretty sick, man. Like for a Prelude.
Well, now we've just put a caveat on it. Why can't it just be sick? This is what I'm saying.
It wasn't.
You said for a Prelude.
Well, because it wasn't fucking turbocharged at the time. That was like, it didn't make 500 horsepower, and it wasn't like sequentially shifted, and like, then that was like pretty sick.
Sorry, I guess what I'm saying is, for anyone that's listened to this podcast, they know how I feel about the G35. Maybe the Prelude was my first instance of the G35. It was just like this like holy grail that then became available to the masses and just got like shit on.
I think it's because you're from fucking Saskatchewan, so like the quality of anything that you ever like did was or saw was kind of just pretty low.
No, because I'll say this: it's the same thing that we talked about in that one episode. The percentage is the same anywhere you go. In Saskatchewan, there is a percentage of like high quality builds, but it just equals a smaller number because of the population. But there are still cool cars, but it was just like the Prelude never had its day in the sun, kind of, because it was just the way like things shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just the peak and the valley of the Prelude never matched up with anything where I got to see a cool Prelude. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
And like none of them rolling around now are there like cool Preludes now?
No, that's the thing that I feel like there's no like survivors.
You just have to look for them, man. Like we're not in the Prelude world, so like
But I mean, they're not out there.
I'm not in a Civic world, and I still see like cool Civics being built.
I haven't seen a cool Civic in fucking ages, dude. Like on the street.
But you're Gerard, Hey, I sent you a photo of one from Saskatchewan. No, that was a Hyundai.
Matt Peterson had a question, and he was just like, Gerard needs to put his fucking money where his mouth is and just come up with 10 super cool JZXs that he thinks are super cool, because he just says nobody has a cool one. So
yeah, he was saying that.
show us what the cool ones then. Like,
okay. I gotta.
Well,
that works. That works for a spoken medium.
It works for. That works for like Instagram posts where you can post 10 posts, and then you can tag the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One. What is this dude's name?
I like the Gerard that shits on JZX 100s but defends Preludes. What a world.
I like 100s. They have to be. I mean.
Hey, we're talking about front wheel drive. That's not the point of this episode.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so what else are we talking about on front wheel drives? I don't want to talk about Preludes anymore.
I don't understand. Yeah, because they're junk. Now, what else can we talk about? What would it take for
Gerard to have another front wheel drive car?
Yeah, what would have to happen? Well, it's more
I'd
fun.
have to be given.
No. Wait, stop. Because it's more fun. What would it take for Kevin to have a front wheel drive car?
He has one. He's got a fucking Echo.
Yeah, there you go.
That doesn't fucking count. No, what has to happen for Kevin to get a front wheel drive car that he's amped on and builds it? What is a series of possible events that happens where Kevin just goes full on front wheel drive?
Full on front wheel drive. There's cataclysmic climate change. And cataclysmic climate change, and we're stricken with super snowstorms, and I have to get around in big snow drifts, and I have front wheel drive advantage.
Okay. But let me say something though. I've never once in my life thought a front wheel drive car is better in the snow. Like not even once. I'll fucking take any rear wheel drive car with snow tires over any front wheel drive car with snow tires. Like they're not better. Like there's not a chance. Like I've driven rear wheel drive cars through fucking 1 foot snow banks, like where snow.
You guys live in Vancouver. What the fuck do you know about snow?
Come on, man. I'm from fucking Manitoba, dude.
How long ago was when?
I lived in Manitoba for 9 years. And like there weren't even front wheel drive cars.
Wait. How old were you when you lived in Manitoba?
I was from 0 to 13 or 12 to 12.
So you drove a fuck ton of front wheel drive cars at the age of 9 through Manitoba winters at 9?
No, but my mom did, and we had a Vanagon. That's rear wheel drive.
Well, no, but you're not. You're missing my point. Is that
my point is that you keep talking about the Saskatchewan winter like it's some fucking like special. Snow is snow. If it's a foot of snow,
it isn't. That's like, not true. Fuck off. That's not snow.
Yeah, the Inuit have like
get out of here
for snow because snow is snow.
What?
I said the Inuit don't have 50 words for snow because snow is snow. There's a million different types of snow.
It's like,
did you see the preludes that I sent
in Vancouver?
Or the preludes in the Civic? No, you just don't even want to look.
Decided to stop talking. Fuck.
And that doesn't really work when you're looking at photos and then talking about them on a thing when people can't see what you're talking.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking to him though.
Well,
but this is all being recorded.
I've never seen a fucking.
But now you're going to talk about the thing that he's looking at.
Yeah, but if he has a reaction
I will say this.
If he has a reaction to it, then people be like, "Oh, I wonder what that prelude looked like." You know what I mean?
Oh, and then
they'll never know.
So here's what I'll say. Gerard led with a photo of a Civic hatch, which I think was his.
No, that wasn't mine. But look at the hat. Like, look at the Civic though. Like, what's done to it? You probably
it's actually a prelude.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to say. It's actually a prelude. I was like actually looking to be like, is this a prelude somehow?
No.
Okay. Then he sent me an interior photo of a car.
That was my Civic.
Okay, so
those carbon dash with all Defi gauges.
So he's just warming us up, and then he sent me 2 photos of the same prelude that, if I'm being honest for people listening at home, kind of just looks like somebody copied the homework of a 240 SX from the same generation. Yeah,
but it's a prelude. So when's the last time you saw a prelude that looked like that?
Well, anytime I see an S14 240 SX from that year.
But you know that car never came 5 volt, right? That car never came 5 volt.
Oh, good. Cool.
Well, don't you remember when fucking 240s were 4 volt and everyone's like, I got a 5 volt conversion? Now it's like you can't even find a 4 volt S13.
No, that's true.
So does that make it more desirable?
Just kind of. So
you have to realize that was also back. That was 2000.
I don't have to realize it.
That was in 2003 or 4 or something.
I refuse to realize your reality.
I'm not. I don't need to. You're not my boss.
Right.
You let me. What I need to know. What I will say is like, it's not bad, but that would probably also look better as an S14. If the same car if you did the exact same things to an S14 and put them next to each other.
How about this one?
S14.
This was the same era.
All right, no, we're not playing this game because it's not conducive to. Is that the FD that you built?
Yeah, that's one of the FDs. Yeah, that's the FD back in 2000.
Well, that's not a prelude. What the fuck?
I know, but the style, okay, whatever, man. The style, the stance, like back then, that was like a big deal for a prelude. Like you said, exactly. Like, what did they have? Like 18 by 7 fucking plus 42 chrome wheels. And then when
they
you
were
have
all
like,
awful.
and that Prelude had 17 by 9 plus 20s. That's like, kind of pretty aggressive for the time.
No, I think all of that is cool.
But just because you made
And
the
if
coolest
I
Prelude
was-
ever doesn't make Preludes cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of the point.
We get it, Gerard. You can take anything and make it the coolest thing ever.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is some cars happen to be
Yo,
front
Ryan, you
wheel
get that
drive.
Prelude? I just texted you that Prelude, Ryan. You get it?
Yeah,
Not their fault.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that they're front wheel drive. We just have to work with them and help them to be better,
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I offered you the same exact build as an S14, would you be like, yeah, I'm taking the Prelude, or would you take the S14?
Of course I'm taking the S14. Come on.
Well, exactly.
But okay,
Then
but
it's
first of
not
all,
like-
as a front wheel drive car, I don't really give a shit about Preludes. Preludes, I would have taken the Civic any day. You know what I mean? I had a fucking Civic. I
All
never
right, well,
had
then
a Prelude.
But then why
question,
are we
but
talking about-
Civic versus S14, not Prelude versus S14?
But yeah,
Like,
but
you
hang
know,
on.
like,
Then why are we talking so much about how
brakes,
great
spoils,
Preludes
wheels,
were?
like all that shit?
Yeah, I didn't hear what Kevin said.
No, I agree with Ryan. Just answer Ryan's question.
Yeah, it's why are we talking about how great the Prelude is?
We're
if,
not.
like,
We're just.
you're
We're
just
just. I
now
was just
saying
defending
that
them
you would
because
never
you said
take
they
them.
were so shitty.
But just because one
Yeah.
you did everything to wasn't so shitty, doesn't mean that like 90% of them weren't super shitty.
No, I'm just saying that
Yeah, I'm just-
they as any car.
Yeah, but you
they have
just said
potential.
you would take. Yeah, but then you just also said I would never take a Prelude. I'm taking a Civic
But that's
any day
me.
over a Prelude.
That's me.
If we go around the circle of people that are talking about this, Kevin, if you could have a Civic or a Prelude, what are you taking?
I have no allegiance though. I've never had a Civic,
Yeah,
and I kind of
cool.
like the last gen Prelude because it looks like
All
it
right.
should be rear wheel drive. Because
Yeah,
it's got that
so
really
you
long
want-
hood, and
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also, okay,
so I take a
that's
Civic.
yeah,
and,
me
and
too.
I mean that
Like Gerard, I would take the Civic,
Yeah,
your Civic.
yeah.
I would take, or like
What?
this, even the Civic you sent. Like I'm taking a hatchback over a Prelude.
but that was
Why
also,
are we defending the honor of a bunk car? I don't understand that none of us want. Like this
Okay,
is
but like
so
that-
dumb
but
that we're
listen,
arguing
listen,
about a
listen,
Prelude.
listen.
What was the Prelude of Prelude 2? What came after? What's the main story? You know?
okay, but
fucking
this is the thing. But
Prelude to a boner
last thing
killer
about the
is what it
Prelude.
is.
The last thing about the Prelude. The Prelude was the car that you bought when you wanted something that was nice and fast already. Civics were never nice and fast. You could buy an SIR was the max that you could buy here. And that was not even that fucking great. 165 horse, 1.6 VTEC. It was like, that was the best Civic you could buy. And a Prelude was still walk all over that. And it had, power windows and shit. And like, it was a nice ass car.
And it had active rear steering.
No, only the early ones had that shit. I was phased out. Like,
So
by,
it had
like,
Hikis?
Hmm?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing so actually going back to the point, what I like about the Civic is what you just described was that it wasn't like a
That's
really
because
fast
you've never
car.
fucking had to build the damn thing. You've never had to like literally buy an entire fucking Integra Type R and put every single fucking part into the Civic just to achieve what you could have fucking bought from the
I don't know why
factory.
you're getting so mad at me just because I was just gonna say it's the same reason I don't like the new Type R's. It's like
But why don't
it's this
you?
thing that's meant to. It is.
Why do you
fast.
have an Aristo
It's
then?
fast out of the box.
Why do you have an Aristo then? Why don't you
Isn't
have
the
a?
Aristo slow? Why do
Well,
I
I mean,
have
that's
an
the creme de la
Aristo?
creme of the Toyota. You know what I mean? It came with the 2J.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
then
got
he's
the
done
full
all the
luxury.
things to get. He's done all the things to make it more sporty. To me, he totally fits the bill of like trying to take the Civic and make it better. Then
Yeah.
I
he
don't
bought the
know.
car. He bought the car that's not the sports car, and he's trying to make it the sports car. He could have bought
Yeah.
He could have bought the Soar that's already standard and all that or whatever. You know.
I could have tried to buy a Supra. I could have stayed with Nissan. I bought a car that was like
You bought a
meant to be
fucking rear-wheel drive
luxury-
Toyota Prelude, is what you did. That's what you
No.
did. Yeah, that's exactly what you
How
did.
is
That's
that
a huge insult
No,
to
that
the
isn't.
Aristo. The Prelude is nowhere even close on the scale of cars.
But
Yeah,
I'm
than
saying
Aristo.
It's
within
not
the
even a
range,
sedan. No,
Within the
you're so
range.
wrong on this.
Yeah.
My feelings are hurt that you're so wrong that you think that a Prelude. No, I bought.
This could
Like,
be the
'cause it's
one
a
moment where you
luxury
just lose all credibility right
Yeah.
here, Gerard.
All right.
Yeah.
Make
What
it
the
so.
fuck are you even talking about? Yeah. It's a luxury sedan that's not meant to be a sports car. And the whole point of that car, and even like when you built yours, was to make a car. And you said like all the luxury car dudes looked at your car and were like, you're not meant to do that to this car. That's kind of cool, I guess. Like it's taking this very like blank slate of a luxury sedan and making it do something that it's not meant to. The Prelude, like you just said, was like fast out of the box and would like walk all over a Civic. But the things that make everything interesting is when someone takes a blank slate and makes it into something like unique and cool and quick and fast. That's why I don't like the Type R. Like Honda just went ahead and did it for you. You're like, oh, you like rice? Well, let me turn it up to 11.
See, that's the
There
thing
you go.
that you maybe just you don't understand yet. Is it's actually there's no
Listen here,
way-
boy.
Yeah, Gerard, people at home can't see this, literally has like a tool in his hand and he's pointing at me like he went out back and cut himself a switch so he can like hit me with it. Like, what the fuck, man? All
You
right,
don't know what you're
don't I
talking about,
under-
son.
Yeah, tell me.
No,
Tell me what I
I'm just
don't
saying,
know.
like
Cut a switch so he
like
can hit
it
me with
sounds
it. Is hilarious.
it sounds good and it's cool to do that, to take the blank slate, like for example the base model Civic, and like make it amazing and do all this shit to it so that it can beat the better car and all that. But like, man, at the end of the day, because you don't want the Type R, for example, right? At the end of the day, if you could buy that fucking Civic Type R, it is worlds better than whatever fucking cobbled together Type R bullshit that anybody's going to put together. Like to start
Okay,
with that
so
Type R.
Here's the thing. I would take an old Type R. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You don't like the looks of the new one, but
ITR.
it's a fucking amazing
That's what
car.
I'm saying. Yeah, think it's cool. There's parts of me that I'm like, oh, maybe that would be really fun to have.
And like,
but
there's
the old Type R and
way.
the old ITRs weren't like they weren't fucking weirdly modded cars like the old
They
ones.
didn't
were
look
still
drastically
pretty
different
tame.
from
Yeah, I
their
mean, I
stock
get that,
counterparts.
but like, for example,
You
you're
had
not
to
gonna
know
take-
when you looked at it to know that it was different. Also,
was white.
It
it was fucking white, dude.
Oh,
did
they'd
not
have
know.
they'd have the
Also, you
or it'd
love
be
white
yellow.
car.
It'd be yellow. What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Gerard,
You know, they'd
you
have the
love white
JDM.
cars.
They'd have the
I
JDM
know.
one piece
All of your
headlight.
cars are white.
They don't
That
have
was the-
JDM one-piece headlights.
No, I know they don't, but like to me, that was the pinnacle. Like when you saw the ITR with the JDM one piece headlight,
Yeah,
like it because that was a
Yeah.
very common car in Richmond, like to do that
yeah,
conversion
for sure.
back then.
I mean,
And that was like
Yeah.
that car looked so sick compared to like the Ford eyes of the North American
Yeah,
car. It
the
looked
North
so
American-
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the 98 up ones were like half decent, but anything before that, like all those fucking 94 USDM Civics or Integras, look bonk, bro.
Yeah.
So bonk.
All right. So now that we know that Gerard loves awful Preludes for some reason,
I don't love Preludes
why are you defending it? Just say they're awful so we can carry on.
because they're not. I'll tell you what's awful. You know what's fucking awful? A fucking Echo.
My attitude?
An Echo is awful. A
Why are
Cavalier.
you? Don't make this
Fucking
about Kevin.
awful.
How dare
Yeah.
you?
How dare you? How dare you?
Cavaliers are awful.
But Echo, Echo's not trying to be the pinnacle.
Yeah, that is
Like,
true.
you gotta
An Echo
compare-
knows
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
At least an Echo knows where it belongs. Like a Prelude thinks it's better than it actually is. A Prelude thinks its shit don't stink, but its shit stinks. That's
Right.
what's going on.
Right.
Why did you? Why? How did
Can
you
I-
just
what-
try to compare a
What,
Prelude to
do you
Echo?
care about like any of the Acuras?
Like
the
currently?
TLX or the ILX or the
I don't give a fuck
TL
about
or
any
the
of those cars. No.
TSX or the
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Is
like-
I can't.
like,
I
that's the
don't
thing,
care
like-
about any of those cars.
no, because that's just it. And that's to me what kind of like solidifies the fact that the Prelude sucks. It's like nothing came after it. There's no lineage. There's nothing good.
Mm.
You know, like everything that Acura came out with
Well,
after that sucks. Like
Okay, well, I mean, you're talking about Acura, so like the TSX, which is the Euro R. All the Euro R type cars are super dope.
yeah,
There's
the Euro R
wagon,
is pretty chill.
right?
I feel like
that's
you
a
just
cool
flip
car.
flopped a bit, but all right.
And then
Go
there's
on.
the Euro that TLX wagon, which is fully sick. I mean, it looks sick. I don't know how fucking good of a car it is, but it looks sick.
Do
Right?
we even get that here though?
I don't know. I think the States somehow got a little bit of it, but like yeah, like that.
I don't think
know, it's a
I've never seen that in real life.
Japanese car, super sick. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of sick Nissans. Like they look sick. Like the Maxima looks sick. Like
How do we get to Nissans?
well, you're talking about front wheel
Yeah,
drive new cars, new front wheel drive.
I was just saying
I
how
agree.
like the Acura car line is a little disappointing.
I kind of hate Acuras, period, man. Like I don't know. I just think fucking they're whack. But
Yeah.
Honestly, though,
So is
the
a Prelude.
new like
Yeah,
whatever TLX looks nuts. Like it
What,
has
new
like
POS?
No, I don't
I'm
know
getting so many mixed signals from Gerard on everything. He's like trying to like shit talk Echoes, like to take heat off his beloved Prelude. Like I don't know what's going on. It's so wild. And then we're like, Kevin used science to prove a point. It's like Honda Prelude. What was it a prelude to? Nothing exciting. So therefore the car is not exciting. And then it's like Gerard's just shuffling things to the side. Oh, I can't win this argument. So Nissans are great.
Sentra,
I thought we were talking
Primera.
about just like good
We
front wheel
are.
drive cars, you know.
Well, yeah, we were, and then we got stuck on how shitty the Honda Prelude is.
I think
But
you went on
okay,
about the
fine.
Prelude.
You son of a bitch. It's just 'cause
Are you
you
gaslighting?
love
now?
it so much. Yeah, you are gaslighting.
All right,
Get outta here.
Enough about the Prelude, man.
Yeah, that's
We've said that 8 times, and then you keep coming back to it.
We're using the lever.
Yeah,
washing
Leave
our
her
hands
2000 on the
out of the
Prelude.
Prelude.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
So as you were saying, Gerard,
yes.
Nissan's got some pretty cool front wheel drives.
I mean, they look cool. I don't
Go
know how they
on.
drive. I have had I had an Altima at one point, and I was pretty surprised at how like fun it was to drive. Kevin and I got into a fight about it one time. It was pretty funny.
What
I don't
was the
remember
fight
that.
about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell me
because you're
more.
too drunk. We went to DUI one time, and I had that fucking Altima, and I was like, yo, like this thing's sick. Like it was actually like really fun to drive because it was torquey. I think it's a KA in those things, and it was torquey. The steering's fast. Like, you know, it was a Nissan, right? And I had tons of Hondas at the time, and like even a 200, 300 horse Honda Civic, it's still a Civic. It still steers like a Civic. It's not fast. It's not a Type R. It's, you know, it's still an economy car with 400 horsepower. Whereas like a Mazda or a Nissan just drives nicer. Anyways, I'd driven it to DUI, and I'd taken not the Coquihalla, the other way.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Number
oh, this is
3,
so
the Crow's
fun.
Nest.
Even that back then, I was like, yo, Nissan, this is so sick, Nissan. And Kevin was like, yo, fucking blah, blah. Like, yo, you drove the Nissan. Like, Nissan's so sick. You keep going on about Nissans. And he was just being a huge jerk at dinner. And I basically was like, yo, like, shut the fuck up. You're too drunk. Like he was just like, starting shit. And I was just like, not having it. I just like, told him to fucking shut up. But yeah, he doesn't even remember it.
I mean, it sounds like Kevin made a lot of really great points, and you just got you tried to gaslight him again, as you do everyone.
But the point is, like, yeah, like you said, I enjoy driving. I get enjoyment out of driving fucking anything, right? And I'll find like the good points and the bad points of a shitty car or a good car, or, you know what I mean, whatever it may be. And I just like, I like to comment about it. I like to talk about it. And like, yeah, it was a mildly exciting car for what I thought it was going to be a total piece of shit. Like I bought it for like $700 or something. And it was like, oh, this thing's pretty cool, actually.
I mean, most things are fun to drive on the Crow's Nest. Don't know. I don't.
I'll tell you,
It's just
fucking
like a
Civic.
fun-
I'll tell you, a Civic DX is not. Even a Civic
Oh,
Type
really?
R powered DX is not really that fun.
Really?
Yeah, it just doesn't
Interesting.
turn. Like, it doesn't turn, man. Like it's not fun. The
I've had fun
steering's-
on that. I was gonna say I've had fun on that road on every car I've driven.
Yeah.
I've driven home. It just happened to be in a Civic as well. In the dark on that road, and it was not fun at all because like the likelihood of animals and
Yeah.
like me trying to get home as fast as possible was just terrifying. Because I remember like I was ripping it and I come around a corner and I see a deer and I'm like, oh fuck, like now I'm all paranoid about hitting a deer at 120 because like, you know what I mean? So it was super stressful.
I drove home in the rain in like a Corolla, like a 2000 Corolla, and that wasn't the best experience. I made a semi driver really mad at
That
me.
sounds
I
like the
don't know.
most
And then-
boring car in the world.
yeah, well, I mean, That and the Prelude. And then, yeah, no. Anyway, but I think a lot of times that road is just fun. When it wasn't raining, it was like still fun to drive that car. I don't know. I'm kind of with Kevin on that, but I get your point. So to go back to the original question though, that I asked, so climate change comes into full effect and Kevin needs to buy a front wheel drive to drive through snow. That's why he gets a front wheel drive. Gerard, what does it take for you to get back into a front wheel drive car? Like to full on have that be your like full out build. Like it's not the Stagia, it's not, like the Blit, like it's your number one priority that you're going to put all your money into. What needs to happen?
Somebody gives me an EK hatch and 10 grand.
Okay.
I'll build the sickest EK hatch. Sorry, not a hatch, a sedan. I want to build a sedan. EK sedan and 10K.
With 10K.
10K.
We've said in the past, formula-wise, if you're going to build a sick car,
you need 20K.
You need 20K.
I'll build a Civic EK sedan that nobody's ever seen for 10K, and the car, like on top of the car.
All right. I don't know how we make that happen. I'm interested.
I mean, for me, it's like I can't fathom. I can't even understand how nobody with a Civic has dumped it and radiused the fenders, like done nice fenders, radiused them, and actually make the thing fit like dope. Like you can make it sit on the ground. I mean, dudes are doing them, but they have like 15s and stuff. So obviously it's going to be low because it's on 15s with like, 195 45s. But like to have it low on like, 17s or 18s, and like, I think that'd be sick, man.
No one wants that dub style, bro.
I mean, it wouldn't even be dub style. It would just look like a really cool small sedan. I don't know. Sort of like DTM or JTCC meets like VIP or something.
All right. So you think you could do that for 10K on top of the car?
Yeah, I think I could make an extremely interesting and exciting EK sedan for the car plus 10K.
What kind of engine would it have in it?
Probably not a very good one.
Okay.
It'd probably just be a turbo D series or maybe some sort of mild B series. But like, I mean, obviously to make it like significantly cooler, it would have a K or like even a B on like, ITBs or something like that. But like, I mean, I would probably
not for 10K.
No, not for 10K. I'd probably just go for like the looks. I mean, you could probably have ITBs on the single cam, but like that would just be a waste of time. So like, kind of fuck that. I mean, you could probably maybe have like a stock K series in it, but like that's still a pretty expensive swap, man. I would just go for like looks and suspension. Honestly, that's probably just, I would make it look like, because I mean, on the internet, nobody really gives a fuck what kind of engine it has until later. Like if they see the car with the wheels sitting on the ground, that's kind of more the thing, right? So,
sure. So you're saying you build it for the internet, is what I'm hearing?
No, I'd build it because I want to see a car that looks like that.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, I want to see. Like I've had this vision of an EK sedan, like literally since I had my hatch, and I've never. It would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to build that car because there's so many other cars I'd like to build, but it's still like in the catalog of like what I'd like to build one day. You know what I mean? So.
Where in the list of things does that build actually come in?
I mean, I've definitely
other things?
I've definitely been wanting to build another Honda like for a couple of years now. It's tied with the Odyssey Absolute because for like basically the same price, you could buy the Absolute, which is a K24 powered sort of like van thing with all-wheel drive, and just 6-speed swap it, turbocharge it, and I'd sort of make it into some sort of like, I don't know, stanced out type R-ish van.
So where do both of those sit on your list?
After the VK powered Nissan, something or other. So it'd probably go like
next on the list.
So probably next on my list is the Stagia, which is probably whatever. And then I kind of have one more like either VQ or VK powered car, and then the Honda. So it's pretty up there. So
like three,
yeah.
It's third on the list for you to build.
Yeah. But I mean, behind what I already have, which is the truck and the fucking Blit and the G35's practice car. Yeah.
And then Kevin, yours is the bottom of the list. It's non-existent. Everything's always going to be a rear wheel drive for Kevin.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind having a front wheel drive like road race car that was super cheap to have fun with or something. But I'd rather
Doesn't seem like
probably have a rear wheel drive road race car. To
Yeah,
have
I was
fun
just gonna
with.
say like I probably wouldn't choose a front wheel drive car as a road race car.
Well, just because like it probably could be very, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be able to take the L test. Like none of my cars are going to, in the current state or how I would want them to be, are going to be, I would think, legal or past tech in that environment, you know?
You totally could just take the camera out. I got a question for you, Kevin. Would you take, for a road race car, would you take a K-powered Fit or a high-powered 350Z?
Yeah, I'd probably take the 350Z. Because at least
there you go, man. That's like at the end of the day, how cool is a K-powered Fit? Like it's pretty sick, but
it's
like
fucking super sick, yeah.
But
I mean, the high-powered Z I could also drift.
Exactly.
and
honestly,
Kevin being a drifter.
And honestly, it's probably a much more balanced road race car. Like maybe it's not ultimately as fast, but I guarantee you it's probably easier to get to those lap times than in a K-powered Fit. Ronald's car is insane and it has a lot of shit done to it. And it's very fast.
Yeah.
But like you could probably put the same amount of money and time into a 350Z and it'd arguably be a better car for road racing, which you could also drift.
I mean, you're asking a drifter, which we established earlier, like to choose. I feel like most times a drifter is going to choose a rear wheel drive. No?
Yeah, I agree. Just because that was my thing. It's like, well, I feel more comfortable in it already, you know, and also, yeah, it's like it's more my wheelhouse, and you know,
every car in the stable has to be able to drift.
If I'm ripping down the straight and my front wheel drive Fit understeers, like I don't have a lot of experience with that. But if I'm ripping down the straight and all of a sudden my 350Z oversteers or understeers, I know how to deal with that. So
yeah, it's a bit of a clutch kick and a counter steer.
yeah, you know, like
kicked off the track.
Hey man, like I don't know, you're gonna understeer into the wall or are you gonna kick it sideways and go make it around the corner, like
and make it look sick.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that's the thing for me. It's like also the intent of that car from inception is already, it's a sports car. You know what I mean? So it's like I get it. Like you take a non-sports car and do sports car things with it, but like I guess I'm in my age and my experience, I'm sort of over that shit. Like I'd rather start with a car that was at least closer to what I want it to do. And
says the guy with a Stagia wagon and a Blitz wagon.
The Blitz is JZX though. I mean, and besides the fact that I bought a 1G version, but the Blitz is a JZX.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Stagia is a 350Z. So
yeah. But it also isn't, and you're putting a 2J in it. So it's funny when you say a thing, but then do the opposite.
Yeah. It's like, why don't I just have a 350Z?
Yeah. Why you haven't put your deposit on a new Z yet either?
No.
Which you want. You could. So see?
I mean, we put a deposit
also,
on the Supra last time, and then that just fizzled out into nothing because it was just like it took so long. And then by the time we were going to get the car, like the States had already like built 50,000 of them, and like SEMA was like literally every Supra went to SEMA before it even came to fucking BC. So we just
yeah, that's fair. To the point of what we were talking about earlier, though, the new Z doesn't look like a Gundam. It just is like a kind of like a
not yet
looking car. Yeah, but that's the point. If you want to make it look like a Gundam, then make it look like a Gundam.
But you're looking at the stock Z. You're not looking at the like Nistune.
Yeah, you're not looking at the Z
ultimate package.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that will look like a Gundam?
No,
but it'll
look like the Type R.
More aggressive.
I mean, look at just look at the highest model GTR right now. It like looks pretty good.
What is the highest model GTR?
I can't remember what the model was now, but they do have like the Nismo, and the last one was called like a color or something. It was weird.
The black? No,
something
that was a while ago.
But yeah, it has like, you know, crazy vented carbon hood and like it has vents and splitters and all sorts of shit. But it's pretty cool. It's a really
that also feels a bit more like purposeful, whereas like The Type R. The Type R feels like there's like shit on there that's just there for the aesthetic.
Dude, I get it, man. That car is over the fucking top. It's fully just like rice on crack. It's like, you want a wing, and let's give you a wing that's like, I don't even know. It's got like uprights and sides, and it's just so much. I get it, but like
I saw one and I was like, yo, I think I actually kind of like that now. And I was like, kind of like creeped up to look at it a little bit closer. It was actually when I was driving your Infinity, and then I saw that and I was like, yo, that's kind of cool. And then I like kind of went and looked a little bit closer at it. And it's like, oh man, there's a lot. Like the closer you get and the more you look at the car, you're like, there is so much shit going on here that I can't even I can't comprehend. It's like, why did they make that choice? Why did they make that choice? One
thing I will say to you, Ryan, is if you were a 9-year-old boy, you would think that shit's sick, because it looks it looks exactly what you think a car like that should look like or would look like.
Yeah. You know, you're absolutely right. Except I don't know a lot of 9-year-old boys that have enough money to buy a Type R.
But I don't know a lot of.
They grow up, bro.
I don't know a lot of 9-year-old boys who have a Countach on their wall that could afford that shit either. But that doesn't mean
that's true.
You know.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you buy a Type R? I think I asked that already. But
one thing I was gonna say that I don't understand. Like, that's the thing, is
Probably
maybe
not.
Honda just doesn't get fucking styling. But like the rear fender, quote unquote, flares on that car that cut off at the door, like, what in the fuck were they thinking with that shit? It's so brutal. It's like, hey, let's put this like pasted on. Remember those like 2007 like STIs? They had that same thing. It was like a weird pasted on fender. And every time I roll those dudes' fenders,
I mean, like every car has that now. Like they have the like plastic fender that's where the fender is.
But like it doesn't even tie into the door. It's just so added on. It's brutal, man.
It's because it's almost like they copied the homework of every dude that was putting fender flares on their car the wrong way.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is what the world loves, so let's give it to them. And that's what that car reeks of. It's just like all of the things that were mal executed.
So what it's called,
like, that's what they want.
What it's called is the Premium Edition T-Spec or the GTR Track Edition Nismo T-Spec.
Track Edition, but what's the T-Spec? Also Track Spec?
I mean, fuck, I don't know.
So it's a Track Edition Track Spec?
No, there's a Premium Edition T-Spec and a Track Edition Nismo T-Spec, apparently.
That's fucking confusing.
It looks fucking sick. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe, but before they used to be called V-Spec, so I don't know what T-Spec is. Like, I don't know.
Fair. I honestly, like, Nissan is pretty good at styling. Now that we're like having this conversation, like Nissan a lot of the times does get styling very right. And then Honda I think has been not getting it as right. I don't know where Toyota falls on it. Like
like the new Accord and like, yeah, I mean, like the new Civics, they all look pretty good. After that weird like 2015 Civic, the like wedge nose bullshit, the cars look beautiful. Like the sedan actually looked good again. But yeah, then the Type R came along, was like full like.
This is a very big aside from.
It's got an Alcantara dashboard. Anyways, go on. That's pretty sick.
Oh, Jesus. I was going to say this is aside because we've been talking about all this shit. Out of the main Japanese manufacturers currently, OEM, who has the best styling?
I mean, in the brand new cars?
Yeah. Who styles OEM cars the best?
I haven't like paid too much attention to all the brands.
I would have to say Lamborghini.
That's not Japanese, you son of a bitch.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was Japanese.
Oh shit, Japanese.
It's Nissan.
Yeah, is it Nissan or Infinity? Because the Infinities look pretty
Infinity.
wild.
It's Infinity.
Honestly, no. I'm going to say, as far as styling, I'm going to say Lexus, which is actually a complete 180 from what I actually think. But like all the new Lexi look.
Maybe because I like when you talk about a brand new car, I'm thinking about 10-year-old cars.
No, like brand new.
Yeah, I think that might be the problem.
and actually Toyota, like the new Sienna and the new like fucking Highlander like look like Supras. Like it's kind of weird. Like they're pretty fucking wild looking. I mean, even the Prius, man. Like the Prius was like one of the first to have that crazy look with the tail lights and they're fucking wild looking.
I've always liked the look of the Prius. Yeah, when the taillights like
yeah, man. They're so crazy. And like all those new Lexuses, with the hard edges and like, dude, the one, what is it, a NX 200 or T or one of those weird little SUV things? If you look at the taillights, man, they kind of come out of the car and like jump up like weird fins. They look super wild, and they're LED, and they're just so Lexus, hands down.
You're you're okay with the giant grills in the front?
Yeah, I think they look sick. The giant hourglass grill.
I'm down with the hourglass. Yeah,
it looks sick.
All right.
Hey, but they just got to get better fucking wheels. They got to take a page out of Nissan's wheel book. Like, you know what I mean? You see like an RCF and like a GSF and all, like they're like, ooh, like 18 by 8.5. Ooh, we almost got a cool wheel. And it's like Nissan's like 19 by 10.5, like plus 15. It's like they're legit putting like crazy wheels on their car. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Toyota fucking.
I mean, you're going to replace those anyway, aren't you? Or no?
Yeah, but half the time you replace all the shit with Nissan wheels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. But if you had a Nissan, wouldn't you still replace it? Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
I mean,
you buy a Lexus, you definitely have to.
Yeah, but I would want to, so I'm all right with that. All right, I honestly didn't think you guys were going to say, I didn't think Lexus was going to be the answer. It was also my answer because I really like Lexus. But all right, good. So Honda's failed us again. Front wheel drive Mazda, not even on the list. Good.
I like the new Mazdas. I think they look great with the like flat front.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, even the new Mazda 3 with that weird like bubble look. I like that car. Yeah, Mazda 6 wagon body, one of the most amazing looking cars.
Ooh, I do not like the new Mazda 3. That looks horrendous.
Kevin hates
not
it
for
too.
me.
He says it looks like an egg.
Kevin's fucking reading my dream journal. Is what that guy's doing because we're on the same page. These are garbage cars. It looks like it belongs in the movie I, Robot, but it's driven by someone who doesn't have a lot of money in the I, Robot universe. Anyway.
I don't even know what that meant.
Well, it's funny.
All right. So what was the other part of this question? Because we've really detoured it. I love it. But what was the other point? Would you recommend the front wheel drive life to others? I feel like we've talked about. So what was the benefit of having
I'll sum it up.
Wait, okay, hang on. Okay, go on.
No,
I was going to say.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
Hang on.
Gerard's going to sum it up.
So we said,
would
Gerard? Yeah, would Gerard ever return to the Civic Life? Yes, he would if someone gifted him $10,000. But even then, if someone gave you $10,000
and an EK sedan to spend it on.
Yeah, but then I feel like they'd also have to tell you, like, you have to spend this $10,000 on the car. Because if I just gave you $10,000 and didn't tell you what you had to spend it on with the car, I don't think you'd be like, man, I just got a free car and $10,000. I should build this car.
Yeah, the sole purpose of the $10,000 is to build that Civic.
Yeah, like it's a gift card that can only be used on Honda parts is like the way you would build it.
Yes.
So that's a big ask that I don't know how that's logistically possible. So what were the benefits of having a front wheel drive car? Snow driving? We kind of thought.
No.
Not according to Gerard.
No.
And Gerard lived in Manitoba for 9 years. Never drove there by himself, but he's seen some things. Okay. Gerard, what are the other benefits of a front wheel drive?
The cars that they come in. That's the only benefit, man. There's no benefit to front wheel drive whatsoever besides the fact that some cars are only available in front wheel drive.
All right. Okay.
No benefit.
So would you recommend the front wheel drive life to others?
If you like those cars, yes. But if you want performance and fun driving, I'm probably going to say no.
I think, that's a relative thing because I think probably dudes that have cars that are built for that and that are like totally into it would argue otherwise.
But I mean, I
think
would
that's
also
because
argue
that's
that point, and I literally just did. I said, like, I've driven many front wheel drive cars that were exciting to drive, but like at the end of the day, like, are they more exciting to drive than a rear wheel drive car? Not really, man. Like, I'll take the most exciting front wheel drive car I've ever driven and the most exciting rear wheel drive car I've ever driven. Night and day, dude.
Yeah,
Day, dude.
but I think if you're going to be, I don't really know how to say this. You can't really like pinpoint a reason why you're into a thing or passionate about it. Like, I think if you're into front wheel drives, you're into front wheel drives.
You
And if
know
you're
what is
rear
into
wheel
front wheel drive, right? They're into Hondas or they're into like whatever those Nissan.
yeah,
Volkswagen.
okay.
They're into
Everyone-
Volkswagen.
yeah,
everyone
Exactly.
is in-
If you're into
No, but
Volkswagen,
everyone
you don't have a
into
fucking choice.
Yeah,
Volkswagen.
but that's it. Yeah, but that's totally it. If you're into Volkswagens, you're going to be into like you're going to look.
Yeah.
To, I
And maybe
guess
that's a
what
huge
you were.
part of why I don't give a shit about Volkswagens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like if they had a
totally.
rear-wheel drive car, like maybe it'd be cool. I appreciate all those cars. I don't have a whole lot of experience driving those cars, but I do. Growing up, was had a lot of friends with V-dubs and like turbocharged V-dubs and like swapped V-dubs. Like they're fucking sick to look at, to listen to, to drive sort of straight and stuff. But like, I enjoy drifting, man. If I'm going to clutch kick that front wheel drive car, what's it going to do? Spin the tires? Whoop-de fucking do.
To be fair, if you're into Hondas, you could be into S2000s. So
Yeah.
that is like kind of a caveat.
Or NSX.
I didn't understand. Or NSXs. I didn't understand what you meant when you said if you like the cars that they come in. Now that you yelled at
Yes.
me, I get it. Yeah, that's fair. But I think okay, yeah, you like Hondas, you're going to be into front wheel drives. Except if
Generally.
you have an S2, except if you have an S2000
Yeah.
or an NSX. But I don't. How Honda guys that can afford an NSX? That's an interesting conundrum. All right, so that's another podcast all on its own. I think. Yeah, I think that's fair. If you look at a Honda and that's what spins your top or gets your motor going, then absolutely you should be into the front wheel drive life.
Or Volkswagen.
I think. Or Volkswagen. All right, so
Is this whole
I hope.
episode about front wheel drive cars?
Well, that was what we were asked to do. I mean, we talked about soap as well. So I mean,
soap was chill. I'm down with the soap.
I think that was like even Christian Stewart kind of thought this would be the answer, as it was kind of like, of course they're not really going to get into it. I don't even know. I didn't even answer the question. Like, what would it take for me to get into a front wheel drive?
Yes, Ryan. What would it take for you to get into a front wheel drive?
A free Camry from your dad.
A free Camry. My dad doesn't even have a Camry. He has a Prius. And I would take a Prius as a daily. Same vein as Kevin Zacco, though.
Why don't they have very many front wheel drive electric cars? But they do, like all the Leaf and the Prius and all that. They're all front wheel drive. But I mean, like, why don't they make a front wheel drive Tesla?
I don't know.
Well,
maybe Tesla wants to try and be cool.
The front wheel drive is a result of like,
Yeah.
manufacturing, like packaging, efficiency, cost effectiveness. And like with electric motors, you don't really need to put, like, they're not really, they're pretty small. So you can put them anywhere.
Did you just ask a question so you could answer it?
Well, no, I was just like, yeah, like why?
Had a
is it-
thought.
I have an answer. Yeah, Gerard, we get it. You're smart, even though you like preludes. Nope. I'm cutting that out. You do.
Nissan.
Yeah, all right.
Nissan Primera.
That sounds like a type of pasta, if I'm being honest. Anyway.
Okay,
all right.
How about Kevin, JTCC and BTCC, the epitome of front wheel drive.
What? Sorry.
I don't know. Like that's a front wheel drive. Like the best front wheel drive
I mean, to me,
examples.
JGTC
No.
wasn't
Not
front wheel drive at
JGTC.
all.
JTCC, touring cars.
All right. I'm not familiar with that series at all.
What? What about BTCC? Obviously.
Yeah, I'm familiar with BTCC.
Well, JTCC is the exact same thing. It's just like was the Japanese version. So it was all the Primeras, the Camry.
Yeah, not familiar with that series at all.
Oh well, fucking guess you're really not into front wheel drives at all then. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Why
we
would I watch that when
established that.
Why would I watch that when I could watch V8 supercars or like anything other.
I mean, honestly, V8 supercars looked pretty bunk until like a couple of years ago. They looked fucking shit until they like lowered them.
All right,
Finally.
it's fine. DTM.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Why would you watch that when you could just watch drifting? Anyway.
But also, like, you were
Drifting
never
didn't exist back then.
You were never into
drifting when you were
watching
10 years old.
BTCC, not with like Matt or anything. BTCC was like a really exciting racing to watch. They just
I mean,
I've
watched it in the past, but I didn't watch it when it was live when I was like 8 years old, and like I didn't have a cable channel that could possibly pick up like British racing series.
Speed had it.
I guess the fucking satellite dish life.
Well, I didn't have Speed.
You didn't have Speed Channel? I watched it when
I grew up in a trailer, I suppose.
Not until high school.
I watched it in high school. They'd run like that type of like touring races. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I thought the cars looked neat. But I had a front wheel drive.
19-inch wheels dumped, and like they couldn't even turn. They literally like it's like the epitome of like sick styling. They literally had like 20 degrees of steering angle.
Sounds real practical.
Just like
which is also
super low VIP cars and stuff.
Yeah, but you build all your cars to function. That's the point of SerialNine. It's that these cars should work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying those cars looked sick, and they were all front wheel drive.
I agree, they look sick. I had a front wheel drive. I don't know what it would take for me to go back to front wheel drive.
What if somebody gave you a touring car, Kevin? Then you can take front wheel drive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anybody gave me a front wheel drive car, I'd probably take it. Like
that's like the dumb thing. It's like I hate that question. We've gone over it. I don't know if I have to reiterate it. I hate if someone gave you a thing. That's so dumb because like it's such a cop out. It's like spend your hard-earned money on something. Yeah. What would it take for you to spend your hard-earned money?
Sell you like? I mean, I just name a car. I guess the T5 R wagon touring car, and it was 10 grand.
Well, let me Google that.
How do you not know what that car is? It was like iconic for fuck's sake. It was the only wagon in racing. Like,
yeah, it also is like tucking half a wheel.
Yeah, all the cars in BTCC were tucking half the wheel.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. You want to get mad at me? You want me to start asking you film questions? Shut up.
I'm just saying. But yeah, all those cars are sick. The Mazda Z06. There was the Nissan Primera. Even the Civics were sick back then.
I mean, like would I pay 10K if someone was to sell? Probably not. Like I don't know.
That's crazy. A touring car for 10 grand, I would fucking.
Where am I going to put it? Like where am I going to put it?
I don't know, just to drive it around. Even just to drive that around, like sequential.
Where is he going to drive it?
Who gives a fuck? On the track? Like.
Why is Kevin going to a track day?
I don't have a trailer, and my truck doesn't run at the moment. And then, like, I don't have a place to put it. I can't drive it in Vancouver.
Like logistically, the car doesn't make any sense for 10 grand for Kevin to have.
It's like a 10K paperweight. I already.
So he's got to. He's got to figure out where he can race it in like a league that would be even fun for him to race it.
Take it.
Then he's got to get
track day. Why wouldn't you just
bring it to the drift gala, right?
Yeah, bring it to
a track day, like a road racing track day.
I guess, but then
I don't know. I mean, whatever. I'm just geeking out. Touring cars are like they were one of the most advanced like race cars of their day. It was crazy. They would like take the engines, turn them around and shit, and like put them tilted back 20 degrees so that they would be like they were nuts. And like that was the epitome of front wheel driveness. So yeah, that was cool.
I agree that it's cool. Like I'm not mad at it. I just the practicality of having that car for $10,000 doesn't really check out for any point. Like Kevin's already got 2 other cars that need to be built that could be track cars, and then you're telling him to asking him why wouldn't he spend $10,000 on a car that does nothing for him, that he can't really drive anywhere, when he'd probably prefer to drive the 3 other cars.
But it's the steal of a deal, bud.
Yeah, I guess.
You're owning a piece of history.
Yeah.
So would you buy it then, Kevin?
And a technological marvel.
If I had the room, maybe.
And 10K. And no other cars or builds on the go.
I mean, if I had the room.
There's so many caveats to get to like, would you buy this?
Yeah, exactly.
because there's all these weird caveats to all of these questions. It's like, would you do this? And
Well,
it's
yes,
like, if. And so the real answer is no, because it's not on the list. I would have a front wheel drive as a daily, probably. I would, but that's where that would end. And then the beauty of that is that I would not be inclined to do much of anything to that car. Like if I had a Camry, maybe you'd put wheels and suspension in it and you'd be done. Like maybe. And that's the point.
Yeah, that is the point. D for done in every sense of the word.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess if I'm across the board, I don't think any of us would actually ever get into it.
Doesn't really seem like any of us care.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer from the beginning was not for us. But the long answer is if it gets your motor going, then by all means do that and pursue that passion and live that life.
Yeah.
But all the cool ones are so expensive now, it doesn't matter.
All the cool ones are taken.
All the cool ones are taken. Gerard's completely checked out of this episode because we shit on the Prelude.
I'm reliving back in the day of like the curb jumping BTCC cars.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Gerard's very cool and I am not. So, all right. I think on that note, I hope this was an enjoyable conversation for everyone because it was weird for me. All right. Is there anything people should check out?
You mean like our stuff?
No, I meant like tell them to go look at all these cars that you've named that they can't see. No, yes, your stuff. Of course, your stuff.
The steering wheel is in production, so that is sick.
Mm-hmm.
I got a P real bad.
All right, you guys. Well, that was a great chat. Okay, thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys spending time with us.
I hate the Prelude. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.